Do you ever watch the news or scroll through social media and think, the world has gone completely mad? Increasing crime rates, skyrocketing costs of living, government overreach, the Great Reset. If you listen to the news and the noise out there, it does increasingly seem like the world is kind of going crazy. And honestly, I think a lot of this is just the media being the media. Fear sells, and if you watch CNN or Fox News, you'd probably do yourself a favor by turning off the TV. But there's no denying that the world is a faster-paced, more complex world than it's ever been, and there's more rules, regulations, and laws that are changing than ever before. And for people who value their sovereignty and their freedom, these changes and trends are pretty concerning. But the good news is that you're not out of options, and in fact, it's still possible to increase your freedoms while becoming a more global citizen, even if the world seems like it's going crazy. And that's why in today's video, I'm sharing 8 different steps you can take to increase your financial and locational freedom to ultimately become more of a global citizen. And really, this is a different video than I normally post on this channel, but I think this is a vital framework for anyone who is really interested in preserving their freedom and sovereignty in an ever-changing world. Ultimately, I think it's important for people to travel and live where they feel they're treated the best. And so this video, I'm super excited for it, and I'll be sharing 8 different steps you can take to get there. And I'll also be sharing the step I'm currently on. And I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments as well, where you're at on this journey. But without further ado, let's get to it. And so really the first step in this whole increase your freedom, become a more global citizen type of journey is to eliminate your debt. And this is really a pretty first simple step because you really can't be globally free if you're in debt to someone or some institution. And that's because debt is really an IOU. It's a legal obligation you have to someone else, which puts them more firmly in control of your life and your destiny. Now, I will start off by saying that not all debt is bad. For some people, things like student loans can be a good investment. The same for a mortgage on your house or income generating real estate. But high interest debt truly represents financial slavery in this day and age. And what's worse is that many places have actually kind of become addicted to debt, which makes this cycle even more vicious. I mean, just look at the news surrounding Klarna and the buy now, pay later loans. People are going deeper and deeper into debt to finance their DoorDash orders. I mean, it is complete insanity. And so the bottom line is that if you can clear out your high interest debts and the debts that make it really difficult to accumulate wealth, you're accelerating your path to financial and locational freedom. So if you have personal loans, credit card bills, medical debt, or other high interest debts, it should be your first goal to pay these off as aggressively as possible. You can start out with the smallest balance, or you can tackle the highest interest rate. There are different strategies to pay off debt, but the important step, and step number 1, is to tackle your debt as quickly as possible. On that note, you can also check out my main channel, Tom Blake, for some money-making ideas and side hustles. That's what I cover over on that channel. So if you're looking for ways to increase your income to tackle debt, definitely check out that channel as well. And guys, really speaking of becoming a global citizen and increasing your freedom and mobility, if there's one thing you also really need to take care of while you're on the road and while you're traveling, it's your health. And that's why I'm excited to talk about SafetyWing, today's video partner, and the latest product they've come out with, which is an insurance plan designed for digital nomads and remote workers called SafetyWing Complete. Now, I've actually been using SafetyWing since 2019 when I first started really traveling abroad to different destinations, so I was actually pretty excited when they reached out to partner on today's video. And honestly, their new Nomad Complete plan is something I'll be using for my extended travel, and I think it is really one of the best products on the market right now for longer term travel plans. And so this plan specifically provides both full health insurance alongside extra travel protections. And this includes routine medical care anywhere in the world, canceled accommodation and delayed luggage protection, adventure sports coverage, trip interruption reimbursements, and even wellness therapies. And there really hasn't been a comprehensive plan for nomads or longer term travel brought to market. So again, I was really excited to partner with SafetyWing on this video because I've been using them since 2019. And I think this product is very, very cool. Now, if you're interested, you can use the link in the video description box, or you can use the QR code I'll be putting up on screen. Again, this is at no additional cost to you, and it does help support the channel. And again, thanks to SafetyWing for partnering on today's video. Now let's get on to the second step. And so the second step, guys, in becoming a more global citizen is to build some high value skills. And really there's a couple reasons for this, but the first is that as you increase your skills and you gain these high value skills, it really does open up a lot more immigration opportunity around the world. Many countries want people who have degrees, skills, higher incomes, know multiple languages, And having these skills in your toolkit can really make the immigration process much easier. Canada is a perfect example, and I know people who are immigrating here, and things like having a degree or knowing French or knowing certain skills can really help you increase the odds you're actually allowed to immigrate here. But really, secondly, and more importantly, is that having high value skills in your toolkit really makes you more robust and capable with whatever life throws at you. And really, when you're more competent, you have less to fear overall. You can move somewhere brand new. You won't be destroyed if you lose your day job, and you can begin thinking and dreaming much larger. And really, the job market these days is global, so in a sense, your skill set and the way you think about obtaining new skills should be too. This is also why I recommend learning skills that are in demand or are in industries that are expected to continue growing. This could be things like digital marketing or AI automation. It could be website design, copywriting, programming, graphic design. You get the idea. Now, I actually have a video coming out on this topic as well about jobs that let you travel the world, so definitely keep an eye out for that one because I think you guys will like it. But the idea here, again, it's really step one, eliminate your debt and your obligations. Step two, start gaining skills that really open up more opportunities and more doors. And this ultimately ties into step three, guys, which is to start growing your income. And again, this is a natural progression because once you possess a high value skill, it's kind of a natural leap to translate this skill into more income opportunities. And you know, I'll be the first to say I love covering cheap travel destinations. That's a big part of what I want to do with this channel. And I love budget travel. But that said, there's no denying that the more money you have, really the more freedom and choices start to open up. And so for most people, I think the fastest route to actually increasing your income is kind of twofold. The first is to play some financial offense, job hop, ask for a raise, gain new skills, look for new opportunities that can increase your income. Now, the second side would be some financial defense, actually making a budget, looking at areas of your spending that you could probably reduce, getting rid of subscriptions, moving to lower cost of living areas. And guys, this is really a big one. It's kind of funny because society tells us you should be super happy if you're saving 10, 15, 20% of your paycheck. But why not think differently and try to save 50, 60, or 75% of your paycheck by using these kinds of strategies? Again, the current blueprint for society is to work super hard until you're about 65 or 70 and to then retire and enjoy the fruits of your labor. But people are waking up. They're realizing that this isn't a path to happiness and fulfillment, and we're not meant to live for our 9-to-5 job. This is why I'm a huge fan and advocate of something like the FIRE movement, which stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early, and why I think it's so cool that people around the world are finding ways to lower their costs of living, increase their income, and kind of escape the rat race much sooner than 65. Honestly, the FIRE movement is super cool, and if you guys are interested in this, I might make a video on it, especially as it relates to something like coastal fire or the kind of financial plan where you try to retire in a lower cost of living area. I think it's super cool. I think this is a cheat code for life. So if there's one takeaway you have from this video today, I would say research the FIRE movement, because I know this is only step 3, but I think this is such a powerful framework to think about life and money and your goals. So definitely look it up in your spare time, and I'll probably make a video on it soon as well. All right, guys, and the fourth step in becoming a more global citizen is to obtain a second passport and citizenship somewhere else. Now, this is actually the step I'm currently on, and I'm super close to actually getting my Romanian passport through my parents and the kind of ancestry route. And I am so excited because this really opens up a lot of doors for me personally in terms of living and working in the EU. And really, this is a super important step in becoming a more global citizen, because a single passport and citizenship is also a single point of failure. Government regulations, travel restrictions, and politics can truly rule your life if you only have one passport. I mean, we've seen this in recent years. I don't want to get into politics here that much really, but again, we've seen governments flip the switch overnight and really change people's lives without asking them what they think about it. Now, I do have a video on countries that sell passports or offer citizenship by investment programs, so I'll put that in the card above, and I recommend researching that. But really, there are multiple ways to obtain a second passport. Like I mentioned, some countries have ancestral routes, so you can prove your heritage or that your parents or grandparents come from that country, and you can then start the process of getting your citizenship there. And then some countries around the world also offer citizenship by investment. So you either provide a donation or an investment of some kind, or you buy real estate, and that is a path to obtaining your passport. There's Portugal with the Golden Visa, there's numerous countries in the Pacific Islands that have these programs, and numerous countries in the Caribbean as well that also offer citizenship by investment. Now, I will say that these investment routes usually take between 150,000 US dollars all the way up to 500,000 US dollars, or even more for some of the programs out there. This is why I think the citizenship by ancestry route is definitely preferable, but get on this step sooner than later because times are changing. The trend now is that countries are tightening the restrictions on these kinds of programs. We've seen Italy and Romania as examples recently change their rules. They're making it a bit more difficult to actually qualify for your passport and your citizenship. And Malta's citizenship by investment program, also known as the Golden Passport program, has been officially removed by the European Court of Justice recently. Times are changing, guys, so again, get on a second passport as soon as you can and as soon as you can afford to, or again, explore the citizenship by ancestry route. All right, guys, and the fifth step in becoming a more global citizen and protecting your sovereignty is to also obtain multiple bank accounts. And so just as you're diversifying your citizenship and your passport and the opportunities that opens, the idea here is to also safeguard your wealth by opening multiple bank accounts in different countries. And this might sound crazy, but it's honestly not. And I think a big part of this is that we take financial security and financial safety for granted here in the West and many countries on Earth, but your financial safety is not guaranteed, especially if you only hold your money in one place. You really never know how a government might change, how taxes might change, how regulations could change. And so again, having multiple passports or citizenships and being able to move your money around to different locations does help protect your freedom. And I'm not talking about keeping money in a PayPal account and a Wise account and a Revolut account. I think all of these payment processors are great, but again, they're all owned by US companies for the most part, or they can be managed by governments, and they are not safe havens for your finances in any way, shape, or form. And this ultimately really ties into step 6 in this ultimate framework, which is to start reducing your tax burden. And really one of your biggest lifetime expenses in pretty much most countries on Earth is going to be the taxes you pay to the government. And most people kind of view taxes as just a necessity of life and they begrudgingly pay them. But clever people who want to accelerate their path to freedom find ways to minimize their tax burden legally. Now, for me personally, the best decision I've ever made on this front is to actually incorporate 2 Canadian businesses where I run my different businesses from, because instead of paying personal income tax as a Canadian citizen, I'm paying the corporate tax rate in Canada, which is much, much lower. This alone has saved me hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes. And again, this is just one route you could take. You could look at starting a business, going down the self-employed route, if that's something you think you can do in your country. But there are other options out there for ways to reduce your tax burden. For example, some people choose to move to friendlier tax regions like the UAE and settle in places like Dubai. I also know many people who have moved to Puerto Rico and established businesses there as well because of the tax treaty it has with the United States. Other people get more creative. They find ways to kind of hide their wealth or disguise their wealth in things like crypto or alternative assets. Again, there is a broad spectrum of ways, some completely legal, some a little bit shadier, of ways to reduce the taxes you're paying. And really my ultimate standpoint here, especially if you're looking to become more globally free, is that you're responsible for reducing your taxes as much as possible. You can disagree with me in the comments if you want, but in my opinion, the taxes you pay in places like Canada or the UK or other countries like that, it's not representative of the quality of life. You pay so much in taxes, you get so little back. And so I think it is up to us individuals to find ways to reduce our tax burden and to increase our quality of life for ourselves. I think most governments are fairly inept and corrupt, and again, they serve themselves and not the people. So be selfish with your finances, protect your wealth, lower your tax burden, and look out for yourself and your family. All right, guys, and the 7th step in becoming a more global citizen and protecting your freedom is to ultimately work on becoming financially free. And really, financial independence might have certain meanings for certain people, but I kind of look at it plainly as earning enough money to essentially be free to do whatever you want and to live the lifestyle you want without relying on anyone else. And so whether it's income from investments, real estate, online businesses, dividends, or something else, the idea is to use your money to really build your freedom engine. And this is again why I really like the financial independence, retire early, FIRE movement, because it actually helps people conceptualize how they can reach financial independence. For example, a lot of people who subscribe to the FIRE movement kind of subscribe to the 4% rule, which states that you can safely withdraw about 4% of your total nest egg and retirement portfolio and live off of that money forever. So this is actually a pretty easy calculation. You basically have to take your annual cost of living and multiply it by 25, and you'll find roughly how much you need to save up to be financially independent. Now, of course, there are some nuances here. I'm kind of simplifying. Some people use a 3% rule and they try to be more conservative. Some people try to factor in inflation or living longer because our lifespans are increasing. So again, it is by no means a golden ticket to ensure you never run out of money. But again, I do think it is a fairly good ballpark to estimating how much money you need to actually be financially free. For example, let's say you wanted to spend around $70,000 per year. Well, you'd need about $1.75 million invested in income generating funds to start covering this annual cost of living. But this is where the math gets really exciting, because if you can find ways to squeeze down and lower the annual cost of living, that financial independence number and your retirement target changes rapidly. And so again, if you can find a way to move to a lower cost of living city or state, or to move to a lower cost of living country, you can probably achieve financial independence much, much earlier than working till 65 or 70. Again, I really want to make a video on the FIRE movement and how it relates to travel and this kind of geo arbitrage strategy. So let me know down in the comments as well if this would be something you guys are interested in. But yeah, the general idea in this step is to just stack up your assets in cash and make it work for you to help accelerate your path to freedom. All right, guys, and the 8th step I wanted to cover is to ultimately find ways to protect everything you've spent your life building. And really, there are numerous steps to take here. The first I would suggest is just to find ways to take care of your health. Health is honestly our most valuable resource. It's something everyone wishes they have as soon as they lose it. And so again, I think finding ways to prioritize your health is really one of the most important goals people should have. This is why things like working out and learning how to eat properly and learning about nutrition are so vital. And again, without your health, it is impossible to travel and to live the kind of lifestyle you want to live. And once again, when you do decide to travel and hit the road, I've mentioned SafetyWing. You can check out their health insurance plans and their Nomad plans. But again, taking care of your health while on the road is absolutely vital. Now, alongside your health, you also want to find ways to continue to protect your wealth and the assets you've spent all of this time and effort building. So again, this could take numerous forms. It could mean decreasing your tax burden. It could mean diversifying your wealth with alternative assets or real estate. Some people continue to get more passports or residencies around the world to, again, help protect all of the freedom and wealth they've spent their life building. Now, I don't really know if step 8 ever has an end. Maybe it does for some people. Maybe some people truly escape the matrix. But again, I think this is ultimately a very good way to cap up this framework of thinking about how you can be more globally free and how you can protect your sovereignty. But anyways, guys, I know this video is quite different than what I normally make, but I was kind of thinking about this over the last few years as the world has frankly changed so much in such little time. And you know, personally, just with how things have gone over the last few years, I really don't think I will live in Canada forever. I think it's great to come here. I like visiting family and friends. I have a condo here. But again, the world is changing. You really don't know what things could look like even 5 to 10 years down the line, which is why I think it's important to start thinking about these things now. Personally, this is sort of the framework I'm going to start using. I'm really on step number 4 in terms of getting my second passport, but I'm also thinking about things like how to reach financial independence, how to protect my sovereignty, how to protect my wealth. And I think it's something everyone should be thinking of. Maybe you agree with some of these steps, maybe you completely disagree with me and you think I'm being an alarmist, but whatever the case, I'd love if you guys could let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And again, feel free to share what step you're on or how you kind of view this whole process of becoming a more global citizen. I hope you guys don't mind the different video than normal. I hope it provides a bit of an interesting talking point or something for you guys to think about. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a fantastic day and week, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.